I have a special guest today. This is Byron Low. Byron, how are you today?
Doing great. How about you?
All right, wonderful. Can you tell the students a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I've been a coach for a long time. I have had the privilege and the opportunity to coach for almost 25 years. And I myself started over 20 businesses. In the trades, I was a short time, I was a president of a remodeling construction company. So I've had the privilege of working with all the different trades, and I love working with entrepreneurs. I've helped other people start businesses. So I have a passion for helping people, period, but also helping people in business, but also even more specialized with helping entrepreneurs.
So, how does one make marketing work?
Really simply, marketing only works if the business owner operates, lives, and acts and thinks like a leader. So what I mean by that, it's often business owners who are in the home service, if it's HVAC, electrical, plumbing, etc. They often are high level technicians. They're very good at what they do. And the challenge can be, how do they operate differently, still owning the business, but they're working on the business strategically instead of just simply inside the business tactically.
All right. So, Byron, before we actually set up this conversation, we're talking about the E-Myth book by Mark Gerber, which we both have read. What are some of your intakes on that book?
I love that book. And I think that book really taught me the importance of the E-Myth is the entrepreneurial myth that there is this great all-powerful entrepreneur that knows everything and that does everything. And in the reality, what it is, it's a smart, savvy business owner that understands that they have to look at their business and kind of segmented their business and put their business into parts and really run their business like a business. And the E-Myth, really one of the key phrases from the E-Myth that I got was working on your business instead of just in your business.
Yeah, like the difference between owning a job and owning a business.
100%.
Yeah. So, what are some actions that busy owners can quickly level up on?
One of the biggest things that they can level up on is their own personal story, their own philosophy of kind of how they see themselves and knowing who they are, knowing the strengths that they bring and why that becomes important. It becomes important in every single aspect of the business because they're not so focused on their business. And there's a Gerber even talks about this. It's myopia where you're so close and that's all. But when you zoom out a little bit or zoom up and you start to see yourself and what you're bringing to the table as far as your strengths, your abilities, the things that you love to do, that's going to have an impact on on how you communicate with a client. It's also going to have an impact on how you communicate to the market and also how you would even bring people on your team.
That's a tough one, is selecting people for your team, I think, anyway.
It is hard, but it's almost impossible if you don't zoom out and get a bigger perspective, a larger view of what needs to happen in your business for your business to grow. Because the honest answer in some of those situations is one of the biggest reasons the business isn't growing is because of the owner operator. They're in the way.
No. So, with this course, we're helping people with some of the pain points of getting found, getting trusted, getting chosen. What are some pain points that you yourself as a coach would help the listeners with?
How to be in a position that's more strategic, how to shift some of those internal mindsets so that they can see themselves as not only the CEO and owner of the business, but the visionary. And this can be hard or harder for someone who's more of a technician and a tactician in the sense that they're really good. I worked with someone at one time who is a master carpenter. And one of his specialties was making staircases and especially staircases that have an arc. They curve up. They're beautiful, but they're hard to make. And it was really hard for him to get out of the way of letting other people build staircases. And there's no way he could grow his business if he didn't add other carpenters and teach and train them how to do it and have SOPs and all that stuff. The point is that one of the biggest barriers is the business owner themselves, understanding that in order for them to elevate their business, they have to elevate how they see themselves, not just as a technician, but as a leader.
That's good. So I know that probably the majority of entrepreneurs out there are just wearing so many different hats. They're doing everything. They're overwhelmed. They don't hire fast enough. So what are some areas that you find owners need help with in those areas?
Yeah, I think they need to find out what are the key roles in their organization, in their company, in their business that they need to replace themselves. The cool thing today with the advent of technology and AI, there are going to be ways that they can actually replace, let's say, for example, just for example, they have a receptionist. There are ways now completely and totally, and it works where they can now put that receptionist, that human being, into a different role, and now they can have technology handle all those calls and they will never miss a call again. Or they could keep the person in answering calls, but when that person's not there or when they're on a call, now the technology makes certain that call is never ever that it's never dropped or it's never not answered. The point is that they need to take an assessment of their business. Where do they need the most help? And then having a plan, putting together a plan of action of how they can add to their team. And then there's a whole strategy on how to actually add to your team. And that's one of my specialties is how do I help business owners add to their team, add to their bench? What's that process look like? How do you do that? And it can be overwhelming, but just like anything else, when we break it down into chunks, it becomes doable and sustainable and scalable.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I asked Byron to be part of this module is because I feel like we're a great partner in that the course itself is helping you to find out how to be chosen, and Byron is helping you to become actually how to scale your business that you've built. So I think that's a really important connection for you as listeners to see. And Byron, you have a small introduction for how people can get to know you?
Yeah, byronlow.com would be that's my main website. And there will be a place that if you wanted to send me an email and it's just Byron at byronlow.com. But I'd be happy to, and I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm not really that active on the other social medias, but LinkedIn, I'm pretty active. And you're going to see mostly coaching. But just so you know, I have started a lot of different businesses. I've helped people start businesses. I've even helped start some home service businesses. And I love helping people, first of all. But the point is that I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
Great. And so you're offering the listeners a 16-minute get acquainted type of session?
Yeah, I think what we'll do is I would like to meet with you over Zoom, just like Lois and I are meeting right now. And really, what I want to, first of all, I just want to listen. I want to find out more about you, more about your business. What are your thoughts as it pertains to where your business is and where you want to take your business? Because every single client I work with, especially a business owner, it's not like I have something I pull off the shelf. I'm going to make whatever coaching that I provide for you, I'm going to make that. I'm going to create that for you. It's going to be like a customized glove just for you. So it really is. I need to find out more about you and we need to get acquainted. So that's really what the first, and that would absolutely be at no cost at all. I would love to get to know you, love to meet you. So it'd be a matter of you receiving an email from me. We'll have some sort of email exchange or text exchange, and then you'll get a chance to pick from my calendar an hour, and you pick the time, and then we meet on Zoom. And you don't have to be in an office. You don't have to be on a computer. You can be on your phone. I just would ask that you carve out that time so I have your attention. That's all.
All right, great. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for all of you to get a chance to just learn how you can really expand your business now that you're finished with all the course and all the technical things that are online, and it's time to build your business through your mindset and your team and all the things that make it grow faster. So, Byron, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Lois. It was great spending time with you today.
All right, so I will have all of Byron's contact information below so that it'll be an easy click for you. All right, thank you guys.